Paula, before I left office, you and I had the opportunity to work together on trying to get a 3/8 cent sales tax passed here in Kansas City so that we could provide quality pre-K education. And we were only looking to provide it for 5-year-olds. Paula, as you recall, that we were unsuccessful here in Kansas City, but I also remember that when Colorado started its trek, Denver particularly started its trek towards quality pre-K, and then has now expanded it down to 4-year-olds, I believe. They were unsuccessful too. So tell us a little bit about why you think it's important for us to be focused on this based on your angle and perception as a researcher, coordinator, convener.
I have to say that the whole title of this session today is Early Childhood Education as an Economic Tool. Couldn't be more relevant, because I think as a country, we're really realizing as this pandemic has swept across our cities, that if we don't have strong childcare infrastructure in our communities, it's going to really be hard for our working families to get back into the workforce, and thus it's going to hinder our economic recovery. We really are starting to see the political and policy relevance of early care and education and its expanded funding on the rise. And more people are starting to understand the importance of those first 5 years in a child's life and how that can then help them succeed and thrive when they get into the K-12 system. For any community that's looking to expand their pre-K program, they really need to focus on who pays and how early in that process. And so that's where you need to really understand your local community and what's available to you based on state and local regulations. I don't think there's just one funding stream that can support this work. You really need to look across your early care and education community and build off of federal, state, and local government funding and use these dollars to help supplement and not supplant existing revenue streams, and also leverage private dollars if you can. So what cities need to think about when they're starting these kind of initiatives are what are the ways that we could possibly support some kind of dedicated funding stream to support our 4-year-olds and possibly our 3-year-olds. And what I've seen come across is there's a lot of use of sales tax, commercial and private property tax, and set-asides. Something new that's kind of come up in the last 5 years are social impact bonds, and then sin taxes on tobacco, marijuana, vaping, and alcohol, and taxes used on sweetened beverages. I think the social impact bonds is a really interesting new way that people are looking at funding their early care and education system, because these are experimenting pay for performance models. And so I know Salt Lake has been experimenting with a pay for performance model where Goldman Sachs fronted an initial investment of money to be repaid as the program began to produce successful outcomes for participants. So that might be something that a community might want to look into as a pay performance model. Sales tax may be the only way some of our communities can afford to successfully raise enough money. But those, as we heard from the mayor, come with some challenges, right? And Mayor James, you know that it's really challenging for sales tax because they often require a majority vote of the population to really create support. And so that's another way. I know that those kind of measures, though, I think call for a charismatic leader who can really often be the one that's being the champion of that. And so I'm sure Mayor Kinney and you, Mayor James, were playing that role in our community. But I think that these kind of initiatives need to be thought out and strategically with local community partners. I can't say enough about making sure as you're starting these initiatives that you include an array of stakeholders. And that would be not only your business community and civic leaders, but also your early care and education partners in the community, as well as your local school districts. For me, the models that have been most successful are those that build on the local capacity in their community and use those small businesses that already exist. And oftentimes when we invest in the 3 and 4-year-olds in those community programs, we see benefits for the infants and toddlers and 2-year-olds that also are participating in those community-based programs. We also see that parents like having childcare and early care and education programs that are convenient. And so we have more participation if those programs are based in their local community.